All right, sorry for the delay. I'm here with Little Man, and we're making the video together. Don't judge the workspace; it's a mess as always. Anyways, my workstation is a Zany 853 Delta. You likely won't find that particular one anymore. You'll find a station just like this, but under a different name. This is just it's a cheap Chinese, no name, whatever. But the reason I like it is that it's a soldering iron plus hot air rework station, a 1.5 amp 15-volt power supply, and a voltmeter all in one. I don't use the meter often, but it's nice to have it. I have used the power supply. It's been no problem. The soldering iron works really, really well, and the hot air station works okay. I've done surface mount with it a couple times, and it definitely works. It's not the best, but for 90 bucks, that's about what it costs. I think like 90 bucks. It does the job. The newest thing was this vacuum that I did the video on. This thing works really, really well. Durability, I'm not sure about yet because it's new, but functionality is on point. It's pretty nice. I do use this stuff. Crumps is right. It will definitely abrade your tip over time, take the coating off, and make it oxidize a lot quicker. But I'm just used to using it, so that's what I use. This one is in particular is a Heiko 599 Bravo, I guess. It's Amazon. It's really lightweight though. I'm not like a super fan of it because you go to like clean your tip and it moves all around. I've seen where guys use magnets or they even mount it to a piece of wood. This comes out and you can just replace it with whatever. I like it because when you touch your tip to it, it actually wicks the solder away, but it will abrade your tip. The water I don't use as much as I should. The purpose of the water is to thermally shock your tip so that the station will drive up above the desired temp to ensure that when you go to solder, you're at the right temp. It doesn't do a lot of good to thermally, wet it on the sponge and then wait, 30 seconds and then go solder, because now your soldering iron will be at the desired temperature. And as soon as you go to solder something, the component you're soldering is a heat sink, and it sucks the temperature out of the soldering iron, and the soldering iron has to ramp back up. And even if it's it does it very, very quickly, you still run the risk of creating a cold solder joint. I think for most of the stuff that we're doing, that I do here, it's not that critical. When I was doing surface mount stuff, I did use the water just because that was such tiny stuff. But when you're tinning wires or PL259 coax, most big actual lead components, not that big of a deal. But definitely a good idea. Let's see, there's the flux. Flux is a must. That stuff's got to be, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old and still going strong. You can see how much is left in there. I like it. You got your little squeeze. Let me see if I can reach here with little man. Little pump bottle. The alcohol comes up and just sits in there, and then you just dip your brush in and clean, and dip your brush in and clean. What you are going to find if you haven't used one of these is that after about 4 or 5 uses, you're going to have to take, I don't have any, take your Chem wipe, and let me see if I can do this while I look at, and then wick out the dirty alcohol, because otherwise you're just using, dirty fluxed up alcohol to try and clean your board, and what's going to happen is, or whatever you're cleaning, you're just smearing, liquid flux everywhere. So clean that thing often. Let's see, there's the helping hands, which are a must. I use a illuminated, magnifying station that is really nice. I love that. It's, it makes a huge difference as far as lighting everything up. Gives, you can change your lighting, angle and all that stuff. I'm a big fan of that. And then wipes, you gotta have some type of lint-free wipes. I think they're a must. Some guys might disagree. I personally really, really like them. I probably use wipes just as much as I use acid brushes and Q-tips, which brings, so acid brushes and Q-tips. And with your acid brushes, I'm sure I've got one here. I just threw one away because it was pretty old and nasty. Yeah, it's, I'm gonna drop my boy. You're gonna take them, you'll leave one, the stock standard flat length, And that's for like your broad strokes of cleaning, like, you know, a large area. And then you cut these down to different shapes and sizes to reach in and underneath certain components and whatnot. I can't get this to come in focus. Anyways, the one I threw away, I had cut down to basically almost nothing, just a very, very slight angle. And that's like the most abrasive. And that's the one that, you know, you use for cleaning right up next to something. But that's the stuff I use. If I think of anything else, I'll definitely send it in a video or include it on Discord.